Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News, September 19th, 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some incredible pictures for you, and we're going to be showing you those pictures. We're going to have a very brief live stream today, and I have Dr. Albers here with me. Dr. Albers, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Scott. And how are you?
I'm doing very, very well.
Good.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to cut right to the chase. I was going over some information and looking at some coronagraphs this morning, and lo and behold, I detected something that's probably going to blow your mind. Now, over the course of the last couple of days, I got some new software, which once again allows me to convert a lot of images to a much, much higher definition. Now, whenever I'm looking at some of these SDO photographs and the video footage, you know, it doesn't matter how good your computer monitor is, they are definitely blurring these images. Now, the images that we're going to show you, some of them come from the SDO, the Solar Dynamics Observatory, and some of them come from coronagraphs, such as the Core 2. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to start checking these out, and I'm going to go ahead and give you the backstory as we review these photographs. And also, Dr. Albers is going to share with you a theory that she's been working on for some time. And I have to say, I agree with it 100%. Not because she's Dr. Albers, but because her theory makes complete sense. It makes so much sense that it goes all the way back to what, Dr. Albers, maybe 5, 6, 7, maybe even 10,000 years ago. And some of this is documented in history. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here real quick, and we're going to go ahead and bring up some of these images. And we're going to start first with this one here.
Yeah, there's definitely something there.
Yeah, just give me 1 second, folks. I'm going to go ahead and get the live chat going so I could see what's happening. Okay, fantastic. Okay, got the live chat brewing. I'd like to thank our moderator, Dawn Stowell. Dawn, thank you very much for being with us. And everybody out there that supports Planet X News, thank you very, very much. So this image that we see here, this was just 2 days ago. This was on the 17th of September. And as you can clearly see outlined by the green arrow, once again, I was just talking about this 2 days ago. Remember, Dr. Albers, I was talking about that video footage that I captured back in, I believe it was maybe March or April of 2017, showing an object blazing through the sun's corona at this same position.
Yeah, so, you can clearly see there's an object there. You can see the circle because it's occupying a space in the corona, and you can see that the corona seems to part and follow the circular outline. So that's a spherical object in the corona, and you can see the connection that they make. And I've been working very hard on understanding these connections that they make, and it's to do with gravity itself.
Yeah, it's just absolutely amazing. You know, folks, and this image here, I didn't have a chance to put this image through this new software that I have. And I'm still learning how to use the software to my benefit. You know, there is a big difference. It just seems that way to me, that the SDO images are less clear than they used to be. And And I think they're doing that for a reason. Hey, listen, man, call me a conspiracy theorist, but I'm a conspiracy realist. Okay. So over the last couple of years, we've been showing the powers that be where we're getting the information. You don't think that they are watching? What? Because I'm some small little YouTube channel, in this big, gigantic world? Listen, we've made so much headway over the last couple of years. There's no doubt that the boys in blue or whoever know who I am, and they definitely know who Dr. Albers is. So there is a high possibility that they're doing everything they can to clean these images up or lower the resolution.
Yeah, well, they've never been that clear in the first place, but I think they probably made it worse. And I did point out before that they clearly defocused the Coronagraph telescope so that we wouldn't see the objects. And of course, we get lots of diffraction effects, but I've learned to identify that recently.
Yeah,
But
yeah, absolutely.
obviously, it does look, it's much less clear than it used to be. So I think you're definitely right with that, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, even if you go to the Helio viewer, you'll notice sometimes that you just can't get certain dates and times on that imaging. And even if you go back several days,
yeah,
you still can't get it.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of that, much more than before that's happening. They're just certain hours, it's just not available. It just doesn't, the images are not available for those. But I'm sure they have crystal clear images.
In fact, absolutely.
They have a live feed.
Yeah, absolutely. Because here's the thing, folks. Whenever you go to the Solar Dynamics Observatory and you watch the 48-hour loop, the resolution is so. But whenever you go and look at the individual framed pictures, you can click on the 4K image. So why not provide us with ultra high definition? I mean, hell, our tax dollars paid for this spacecraft, the SDO spacecraft. We pay for NASA. Americans, their tax dollars fund NASA through the government. So I hope the boys in blue are watching this right now and listening. You guys need to turn up the definition, the resolution. Okay, it's my money. It's everybody in this country's money. You guys work for us. So turn up the resolution. But they're not going to do that.
There's no way, because they are desperately trying to hide what's going on, Scott.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt about it. So, here we are, folks. September 17th, I capture this object. Just the other day, we captured that object streaming through the sun's corona at about the 10 o'clock position. Now, it wasn't crystal clear, but you could see that object moving by, and it moved by so fast that it actually disrupted the sun's corona, like the wind blowing in your hair. Okay, and that's not the first time that we've seen that. So here we go once again. This object, and Dr. Albers, compared to the size of the sun and its position right there, that should give us a little bit of a dimension on the size of this character.
Yeah.
How big would you think this object would be?
One of the biggest. I would say it's about Jupiter's size, maybe a little larger.
That's what I thought too. Well, we're going to show you the big object, folks. I captured that this morning, and I was doing some poking around, and I was looking at some coronagraph images, and lo and behold, bingo, man, it was right there. So I'm going to go ahead and jump out of this photograph, and this is the photograph from the other day that we were looking at. Where is it? This is it right here. Okay, now we were looking at this photograph, and some of you may have seen this in our other live stream. And again, this is off of the SDO, and you could see an object here, here, and here. Now, I mean, let's be realistic. I watch these websites every single day, multiple times per day. Okay, these objects never appear. So you see them on this day. And this was, I believe, on the 14th of September. So let's get out of there and let's move over to here. Now, I haven't done anything to this photograph at all. You can see the date right up here. Follow my cursor. The 19th, 1 a.m.
Day, yeah.
Yeah, and that's in universal time right there. Now, you don't see those objects over here anymore, do you? Where do you see them? Right there. 1, 2, and they're kind of faded. Here's another one down here at the bottom. I'll zoom in a little bit for you. One here, and one here. Now, they don't look like much to you guys, possibly, but folks, let me tell you, okay, I'm not pulling your leg here. These objects do not belong in this photograph. I don't normally see large spherical objects passing by the sun whenever I'm looking at these images. Why? Because they're not supposed to be there. Let's move on to the next one. Now, all I did was inverted that prior image that we just looked at. We'll zoom in a little bit more. And I don't know what is causing this this checkerboard pattern on the EIT here. I don't know what's causing that. I've seen it before a few times, but it's all across the complete screen. You could see it. It's almost like it's pixelized on purpose. I don't know, but you can barely see these objects. One here, one here. They're out of place. They don't belong here. Let's take a look at this one down below. And you can see that is a spherical object right there.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Okay, let's move on. Now, I'm getting into this this coronagraph image. And I forget what they call this specific image. This is a combination of the LASCO C2 and the LASCO C3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, these are combined, I guess, overlapping. Now, this new high definition software that I just got, and again, I'm still learning how to use it, but let me tell you something. It paid off today. It paid off big time. One of the ways that you use this new software is whenever you want to bring something up to an ultra high definition, you just don't load the image and click a button and it gives you a higher definition. What it asks you is to stack the images. So it wants you to load the same image 3 times. How the actual program works, I'm going to look into that a little bit further. But whenever you stack the images on top of each other, it will produce a much higher resolution photograph. So this is the plain image that I started off with. And naturally, folks, you know, every time I'm looking at these photographs, I'm zooming in everywhere. And you could see, you know, it's kind of hazy. And I'm zooming in and I'm zooming in and I'm zooming in. And then I get to this point right here, you know, and I start to see a lot of objects appearing on my screen, but they're so faint. They are out of focus. But one thing that I did notice was something right here, right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was massive. And I thought my eyes were deceiving me. So I took this plane image and I went ahead and I stacked it. And this is one of the first shots that I got back after increasing the resolution on this new program. I want you guys to pay very, very close attention. Focus your eyes on what I'm pointing at. I hope you're watching this on a computer screen and not a cell phone. If you're watching on a cell phone, somehow later on, if the resolution's not that good, get to a computer and rewatch this live stream. Okay, so once this image was stacked, what starts to appear? Holy hell.
Mm-hmm.
And even the smaller objects start to come out as perfect spheres. There's even an object faintly up here, which is completely striped, but it's very, very faint and out of kind of out of focus.
Yeah, but you always see the ring pattern around the object. That's the diffraction effect. And that's also because they defocus the telescopes on purpose so that they wouldn't be clearly seen.
I mean, this blew my mind, folks. You know, I've made some pretty big captures over the years, and we know for a fact that these objects are there. And later on, we're going to listen to Dr. Albers' theory on what's happening and how we got there and how these objects got where they're at right now.
Yeah, I mean, one question we should ask ourselves is, okay, these objects are smaller than the sun. Why are they there? Why haven't they collided with the sun, gone inside the sun and disappeared? If they got to the sun, aren't they supposed to destroy themselves when they get there? Why are they hanging around?
We know why they're hanging around.
They are hanging around because everything we've ever been taught about physics and how stars and planets work is wrong. Everything we've ever been taught about gravity is wrong. And seeing these objects there tells us that it's wrong, because if gravity was the way it was supposed to be, these objects wouldn't be there. They would have collided with the sun. They would have gone into the sun and disappeared, because the sun is supposed to be a great big ball of gas with just a tiny little core inside it. And it's supposed to be exploding all the time with thermonuclear reactions. But nothing like that is going on. It's completely different from that. Just about everything we've ever been taught is wrong.
Yeah, listen, folks, all of you that are in the live chat right now, I just want to know if you are seeing exactly what I'm seeing. If you guys are, then let me know in the live chat. Give me a thumbs up. Start talking. Start putting some words in that live chat, man, and let me know that you are seeing exactly what I am seeing. Because not only are we looking at this big object, I want you to take a look at what's around here. All of these perfectly three-dimensional spheres. I mean, even though they're slightly pixelized in this image, I mean, when have you looked at one of these coronagraph images, and when have you seen all of these multiple spheres everywhere? And folks, these aren't small bodies. These are huge. These are way bigger than planet Earth. Way bigger. I'd have to say, what, Dr. Albers, maybe 7 to 10 times larger than Earth?
Yeah, well, maybe not that large, maybe 4 times larger than Earth. From twice as large to 4 times as large as Earth. The smallest ones. But we've shown images of objects that are as large as the sun. I mean, the other day I calculated what should have happened to Earth's orbit if we just had one of these objects with the same size as the sun. And these are cores of stars. These are not the whole star. They've lost their outer layers. These are the cores. So they're even denser than the sun. So they would have more mass than the sun. But if we only assume they have the same mass as the sun because they're the same size as the sun, the Earth's orbit would have changed. It would have become elliptical. It would have come extremely close to the sun. The Earth wouldn't be here anymore. And there are many, many of these objects that are usually found close to the sun. So that shows you that everything we've been taught about gravity is wrong. It's just impossible to be correct.
Absolutely. Now, folks, this is coming from, the same imaging, the stereo core 2. And again, I haven't done anything with this photograph. Nothing at all. I left it original. Okay. And I mean, if we zoom in a little bit, it does pixelate, but we could start to see these spherical objects. Now, listen, you'll have these whack job debunkers that will say those are nothing more than background stars. If they're background stars, don't you think they would be a little bit more illuminated? And how in the hell would you be able to define a three-dimensional sphere if it was a shining star? You can see these smaller objects. They are absolutely everywhere in this photograph. Now, this little small white dot here, this might be a star. This might be a star. But these little objects here, folks, right here where my cursor is pointing, these are not stars.
Yeah, I don't think we can see any stars through the corona of the sun anyway. The corona is just too bright. Just think about it. You are looking at the sun. How likely, even if it's an eclipse, how likely are you to see stars around the sun? They're just not bright enough. They're too distant to be able, for us to be able to see them through the corona. These are not stars. These are objects that are around the sun. And I've shown that I've written articles about the coronagraph images, including the HAO, the one in Hawaii, where I show that you have all these ring patterns, and these are light sources right there in the corona. And I show how they move. They move away from the sun and then closer to the sun. They stay in position up to 7 hours. Background stars will not stay in position right next to the sun for 7 hours. Only an object attached to the sun will be able to do that.
Exactly. They're making a connection with the sun, folks.
Yes.
Whenever they get this close, where they can disrupt the sun's corona, they are making plasma connections with the sun. We've seen it before. I've documented it before. And this is all on the same day. This is today. This happened today while everybody was sleeping. I was up and I was digging. And lo and behold, this is what I was finding. So again, if you take a look at the date up here, it's the 19th, again, 1 a.m. UTC time, and bingo. Here, I don't know what's causing this checkerboard pattern. I don't know if that's a problem with the camera. I don't know if they're doing that on purpose. I don't know. But bingo, 1, 2, and then here's your third object right down here. So do you think that those are just camera anomalies? Because a couple of days before this, we found these same objects on this side of the sun at about the 10 o'clock position. Now they're over here at about the 3 o'clock position.
Yeah, this is exactly how these objects are. I've seen this over and over again. They hang around for a couple of hours in one position and then they move somewhere else. I could even see that when they were just showing cut off. They were cutting off parts of the image.
Exactly.
See, they would cut off the image, say on the left, the bottom left corner, and then they would cut off the image on the right side, and then the top. And you could see these where they were cutting off the image was obviously where the objects were in the SDO images, and they were just trying to hide them. But you could see just by the fact that they were trying to hide them, because no one adds cut-offs to images for nothing. I mean, it takes effort, obviously.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we're trying to hide these objects that we are now seeing.
Now, once again, folks, this is a stacked image of the LASCO C2 and the LASCO C3. Now, if any of you don't know this big black line here and this black circle in the middle, that is an internal occulter. It blocks out the actual sun so we can see what's going on around it. And it kind of looks like a long outreached arm, but it's actually internal within the camera mechanism. And I've never seen things like this before. I don't know what these are right here to the left and to the right. Something was definitely occurring. But whenever I started examining this photograph, you know, and I'm zooming in, and, you know, I start to see perfectly round shapes. But again, you know, this was completely out of focus. But let's get to the good stuff. Bingo. Now we're looking at the same image. Here's the occulter. It's right over top of the sun. But what do we have? Now you can see, and this image, I put this image through that new software that gives me a higher definition. And I'm telling you what, I can clearly say now that they are definitely skewing these images. They are blurring these images. They are doing things to the images for public access so we do not see what is there. And today we uncovered it. And again, right here, right now, we are proving it to all 425 of you that are watching this live stream right now. So let's zoom in a little bit further. Oh, well, what in the hell do we have there? Let me put it right in the middle of the screen. And not only do you see this big giant right here, wow, you see another perfect sphere here, and another one here, and another one here.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
So, I mean, what is an astronomer going to tell me that those are background stars? If they're background stars, I mean, look how close they are. What stars are they?
Yeah, well, I already proved that these are not background stars, that these are the stellar cores we've been observing, these objects that belong to the planet X. Well, that's what I named it. No one else is talking about the planet X system.
There's an object up here.
What we want.
Yeah, there's an object right up here, and you guys can probably not see it that well. Me and Dr. Albers were poring over this footage, but there's an object up here that is completely striped. You can barely see it right up here because it's kind of in that shadow of that occulter.
Yeah, but well, folks, the occulter is probably made to look like that for a reason as well, to hide things.
Yeah, there you have it, folks.
What they're interested in doing. The images they produce are for them to study, so they know how to track these objects. And then the rest is given to us, and it's as bad as they can make it, so we don't see what's going on. And then even if we do see what's going on, then they send out some of those people they pay to discourage people who are observing these from believing that there's anything there.
Exactly. Now, once again, folks, all of you that are in the live chat right now, give me a thumbs up, man. Let me know that you are clearly seeing what I'm seeing. because I know I'm not crazy. I mean, I've been poring over images for years. I've been involved in Planet X research for, you know, I'm starting to lose track of the years. But again, look at your screen. I've showed you the original images. All I have done is put these images into a new program that gives me a higher resolution.
Yeah.
And when we take away all of the blurriness that they add, look what comes out.
Yeah, I mean, you're excellent at examining these images, Scott. You know, you just know what to do. Sometimes you know when to look.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing too. You know, there was something drawing me in to look at these specific images, and here is the original image, and you saw. Well, this is the original image after the high definition program was instituted. Now, remember how foggy this area was over here? You really couldn't see anything defined. Well, thank God for that program. Let's just take a look and see what we got right there.
Yeah.
Just take that in, folks. Just absorb that.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
you've been showing these objects there for such a long time, and as you can see, we're still finding them. They're not going away. They will never go away.
oh yeah, there, ladies and gentlemen, we will never see the exodus of these objects in our lifetime, or maybe even 100 or 1,000 lifetimes. That is just not the way that space works. And again, you know, all of the best scientists and astronomers in the world, they know very little about what's happening out there. The formation of our solar system, the formation of galaxies, the universe. I mean, they get on some of these shows and they talk the talk, but the bottom line is they really don't know much. So we're looking at an object, and this, Dr. Albers, I believe this is the big one. This is the mother lode object right there on your screen right
Yes,
now.
it's a big one. Yeah, and the biggest ones are stars. The little ones are planetary cores, because the system it's huge. I believe it's 20,000 times larger than the solar system, and is now encompassing the whole of the solar system. And the way I discovered that was, well, I first studied the stellar cores, what they are doing to the sun, how they are energy depleted. Our energy is dependent on, that energy is what causes an object to have a gravitational influence. If an object is low in energy, it has low gravitational influence. It will interact gravitationally, but with a very tiny gravitational constant. So the interaction is extremely weak. This is why they don't have a large gravitational effect on the sun. That's why the solar system has not been destroyed, because they're low in energy. These are dead stars because they are low in energy. They cannot produce an electric field strong enough to emit light, and they cannot produce a gravitational field strong enough to influence other objects strongly. It's very weak. But they come to the sun, they attracted to the sun, and they start absorbing energy from the sun. And the energy absorption process is such that it causes the contact region where the two parts, the two different matters, the one from the stellar Planet X system, the other one from the solar system, where they interact, there is heat transfer and ionization. The contact zone, its heat increases, its heat energy increases to a huge amount, and that matter becomes ionized and it starts emitting light.
Yeah, somebody was asking what this object is over here at the 9 o'clock position. This has been This has been on the lens, oh Lord, I'd have to say for years and years and years.
Yeah. What
This,
usually happens is
you get
an
little
object comes in, appears on the image, and they somehow never manage to remove it from the image. So, and someone may have noticed. So what they do is they then add it to every image as if to say, well, that's a defect now, or that's
yeah, I don't know. I mean, some people
problem, that's why it's there.
Yeah, some people have done videos on this and they claim that it's a spaceship and blah blah blah. It's nothing more than a blemish.
Once, because I have seen in the Core 2 images how they have the raw images.
Yeah.
And then they have the images after processing. And I have actually caught them adding something between the raw image and the process image. Something was added to it, and that's that bright or that dark mass that you see underneath the occulter. It wasn't there in the raw image, and then in the process image it was there. They actually added it. So
yeah, they're probably playing around with these images. There's no doubt. But you know, instead of focusing on this little blemish, take a look at what's right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's clearly a sphere. And when I call it a sphere, folks, I mean, that's exactly what it is, man. It's round. It's not an asteroid. It's not a meteor. Listen, that object right there is massive. It is probably the size of Jupiter. I mean, it has to be. Look at the size of it.
Yeah, we cannot forget that the sun's radius is 100 times the radius of the Earth.
Yeah.
The sun is a huge object. So we have to realize that any objects that we see very close to the sun must be extremely large as well. These are not tiny objects. These are not tiny specks. These are really large objects.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about it. I mean, if you zoom in right here, I mean, you can clearly see this is a sphere. It is a very large sphere. You could see it's partially illuminated as it faces the sun in this direction, and it's a little bit darker on this side as it faces away from the sun. Folks, these objects are all around our sun. You know, I'm sure that there are some people out there that are expecting me to, you know, make a connection between what we're seeing here right now on your screen and what happened at this sunspot observatory. But the thing about it is, folks, you know, the telescopes that they're using, I know they're using some of that H alpha filtering, and you're really not going to see much around the sun. All you're going to see with an H alpha filter is this. That's it. You'll see a light ring around the sun, and you'll see a round image in the middle. That's it. You're not going to see what we're seeing here today.
Yeah, the solid filters cut out the corona. So all the ultraviolet that it emits and any visible light emitted by the corona itself is eliminated by the solar filter. And these objects are immersed in coronal plasma. So they emit the same light as the corona. So that's why when you see the sun through a solar filter, you don't see them because you don't see the corona.
Exactly. You know, folks, I've gone round and round and round with these backyard astronomers that think they know it all. And they all say, oh, why can't I see it from my backyard? Oh, I have this telescope and I have this equipment and I'm using this filter. Well, okay. If your little backyard telescope can see 93 million miles away in ultra clear definition, wow, man, you know, you should be able to see these objects. But when you're using filters to block out the rays of the sun so you can see just that little bright ball in the middle, such as these H alpha filters, that's all that you're going to see. You're not going to see surrounding space where the sun is. Am I correct, Dr. Albers? Am I explaining that correctly?
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to see anything in the background. Nothing. You know, I got there's a few YouTube channels out there that do live streaming with their high-powered telescopes, and you know they show the moon and Saturn and Jupiter, and they do every now and then show the sun. But what are they showing you? All they're showing you is a filtered image. That's it. You're not seeing anything that is around the sun. So, for all of the backyard astronomers that think you know what you're talking about and you're going to troll me, man, pack your bags, buddy, because you have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. And I would sure as hell like to see you here today to explain this image and the other images. We've been going through this now for years, folks. And I think once again that we've proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that this system is here. And Dr. Albers has a very, very good theory on what's actually happening.
Yeah, I was starting to explain that whenever there's contact between the stellar core matter and the solar system matter, there's heating and ionization. Now, as it turns out, the data up to 2005 showed that the solar system was moving through the interstellar medium and that it was simply warm, and half of it was neutral, half of it was ionized. It was a warm environment that the sun seemed to be moving through. But somehow after 2011, it seems, the data suddenly started showing that the interstellar medium was much hotter all around the solar system. And now they were they started talking about the hot bubble, that the solar system was moving through a part of interstellar space that was much hotter. Well, as it turns out, what that actually means, and because we know the stellar cores are coming from outside the solar system, what it means is that interstellar medium is hotter, or suddenly became hotter. And that's what the data showed. It became hotter because more stellar core matter started coming to the edge of the solar system. The data also shows that the solar system started decreasing in size. It's being compacted. That's also because the sun's getting weaker. And so there's more and more stellar core matter coming in towards the solar system. And we know as well that since 2011, more of these objects seem to have come into the solar system. So that all correlates into this interstellar, the local interstellar cloud, which encompasses the whole of the solar system, is actually the Planet X system. And we know that the solar system moved into it. It is still at the edge of it, but still encompassed around on all sides by the system, by this cloud. And it's quite uniform, what we find coming from this cloud up to many light years away, 78 light years away. So this means that this interstellar cloud is actually where the Planet X system is. It is the Planet X system. It is 20,000 times larger than the solar system. The solar system is inside it and encompassed into it all around. And probably we were further out at the edge before we may have entered this interstellar cloud or the Planet X system several thousand years ago. But as we move into more inwards into it, we find a denser part of the system where there are more dead stars and more dead planets. And I wrote about this in an article where I ended with, can we leave the solar system? Because this is what it means. It means we cannot leave the solar system. Because if we use anti-gravity drives, they will not work because these objects have very, very low gravity. So that's why the anti-gravity drive spacecraft, or electrogravitic, if you like, will not work beyond the edge of our solar system. And not only that, even if we use normal drive, solid fuel drives, which will go through it but at very slow speeds, we will not find any living systems, any living stars, any living planets. They're all dead because the Planet X system is a destroyer. It absorbs all the energy. If it encounters a solar system, it will be invaded. All the energy in all those objects will be absorbed, and then they'll become dead objects as well, and they will be assimilated into the Planet X system, which is probably why it's so huge and increasing in size all the time. Well, it is right now in the process of assimilating our solar system, and there's no way out. We cannot escape.
Oh yeah, I mean, folks, let me put this into perspective for all of you, so you understand Dr. Albers' theory. And we've been talking about this each and every day, over and over and over again. And I want you to just think of it this way. Have any of you ever walked up to a large fountain and you took a coin and you threw that coin into that large fountain and you made a wish? Just imagine that little coin amongst all of the other thousands of coins in that huge fountain. That huge fountain is the Planet X system, as we're calling it. Our solar system, where we live, is inside of this massive Planet X system. Now, you may think that we're crazy and we're way off beat, but ladies and gentlemen, listen to me very carefully. Throughout history, dating back thousands and thousands and thousands of years, man has documented these occurrences, these disasters, these floods. Call it biblical, call it whatever you want. Gil Broussard, who we don't hear from very much anymore, found papers, actual writings from the Chinese that dated back 6,000 years ago. And they were talking about the destroyer, a system. It came in. Ladies and gentlemen, you just don't understand how massive this system is. We have probably been inside of this system for tens of thousands of years, maybe hundreds of thousands of years, maybe millions of years. Who knows? Mainstream science doesn't know shit to begin with. They just tell you things, and because they sound so educated, you're apt to believe them. Am I right, Dr. Albers, or am I way off?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, as a physicist, I know what I was trained with. I know the theories that I was taught. And the thing is, I discovered that just about everything is wrong. In fact, it's so wrong that it's the total opposite of what things really are. For example, a dead star is supposed to end up with infinite gravity as a black hole, but they end up in the opposite way with zero gravity. No energy. Cannot emit any light.
Here's a theory that Dr. Albers and we were throwing around earlier today. mainstream astronomers and scientists and astrophysicists, they all say that the majority of all stars are part of a binary system. Two stars, orbiting each other, blah, blah, blah. And they say, well, our planet, or excuse me, our solar system, our sun should have an evil twin, as they call it. It's Nemesis. And that's where that name came from. The sun's binary twin. Well, no one has actually found it yet. Is there a high possibility that millions of years ago, our sun and its binary twin got into a little trouble inside of this massive Planet X system? Maybe there was some type of a collision. Maybe that other sun is gone, destroyed. Maybe it was a smaller star. Who knows? Who actually knows? Are we going to just sit there and let mainstream science feed us the BS that they've been feeding us for a lifetime, when we're all sitting here today and we're looking at a massive object out there by our sun, and they say it doesn't exist? But yet, over the course of years, myself and Dr. Albers have proved them wrong. Why are we not on mainstream TV? Why are people not saying, hey, let me look at your data. Let me look at this. Why? Because they know damn well that they would have to come out and say, holy shit, look what these people found. Now, all of science is out the door. Excuse me. I'm starting to get really fired up because over the years, folks, I've been trolled, I've been slandered, I've been kicked in the teeth and dragged through the mud, and so has Dr. Albers. And all we want to do is we want to explain to you, and we want to teach you, and we want to show you what is happening. Everybody is asking what is happening with our climate. Blah, 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 blah. Well, we've been lied to about that. Global warming? Give me a break. Man can't produce global warming. It's already been proven. Once again, it's just another story. Look at what's happening in our North Pole. Almost all of the ancient ice that's been there for millions of years, it's all just about gone. How would that happen? What about the increased radiation? I mean, that's being documented. The loss of ice in the North Pole is being documented, but some of those climatologists are kind of scared to talk about it, except for maybe a few. And those few are deemed to be nuts, but yet they teach at universities, they teach your children, but yet they're deemed crazy. Give me a break, man. Enough is enough. And here's something else I want to bring up, ladies and gentlemen. The other day I was watching a video by Dave Dobbs. I don't know if any of you know who Dave Dobbs is, and I don't know if any of you follow him. And, I've talked to Dave, I think maybe one or two times. I did a live stream with him and Steve Olson way back a few years ago. And I was looking at his so-called computer model that he was doing with Nibiru and, the Planet X system and Nemesis and the whole mythological fairy tale. And, I had gotten myself caught up in it many, many years ago, but I was investigating every single angle there was. And it's taken years. Now, I just watched this video of his the other day, which now made me lose every ounce of respect for him, because now at the end of his video, he's wanting all of you to donate $10,000 to his GoFundMe account so he can produce a real Planet X model. Dave Dobbs, if you're listening to me, how is $10,000 from hard-working people going to allow you to produce a model of something that you don't know diddly squat about? It's got me really, really pissed off, folks, because all of the money in the world is not going to produce a so-called, quote, model. What are you going to do with a model? You're not going to do anything with that model. You're going to put that 10 grand in your pocket and live off of it. Ladies and gentlemen, there has been so much deception going on over the last year with Planet X research, people showing all kind of wacky videos and wacky photographs and blah, blah, blah. And I catch a lot of flack because sometimes I call these people out because they are creating deception. What Dr. Albers and I do, we research it. We are truly out there trying to find the answers. Maybe we won't find all of the answers, but I will be damned if somebody is going to make a mockery of what is happening. I'm sorry, but that is the way that I feel. You don't need $10,000 to create a Planet X model. My God. You know, I took a lot of flack for calling out the little lady from Indiana that was showing nothing more than lens flares and camera anomalies in the telescope housing of her telescope, and claiming that they were egg-shaped planets and alien spaceships when it was nothing more than dust. But we sit here today on September 19th, 2018, and we're looking at hardcore evidence. And you wonder why they are chemtrailing the living hell out of the sky. You wonder why they are conducting geoengineering and weaponizing weather. There is a reason why they took out the areas of North and South Carolina. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to dig and I'm going to find out, because I'm telling you this much, folks. I watched planes chemtrail below that hurricane as it was coming across the Atlantic Ocean. I zoomed in on NASA Earth View satellites, and I can see the chemtrailing out in the ocean under that hurricane. And as the hurricane got closer and closer, they were leaving out of what looked like flying over the islands of the south portion of the Bahamas and chemtrailing underneath that storm and driving it right to a pinpoint from one of those next rad Doppler radar sites in Wilmington, North Carolina. And the eye of the hurricane was drawn right to it. I have the video footage. I watched it live. I watched them steer that storm system. I watched them feed it for days. Whatever they were spraying was getting sucked up in that hurricane. Why do you think it dumped that amount of rain? Historical. Ladies and gentlemen, they did the same damn thing last year with Hurricane Harvey. And we have not seen the end of it. I don't know what they're up to, but I'm going to find out why they took out these areas of North and South Carolina. They did it for a reason. It's got me very upset. Now, all of those people have nowhere to go. Excuse me. The same thing last year with Harvey. These areas will never be the same. Is that what they want? Is that their way of moving people off of the coast? Something's up. Excuse me. I get very emotional when I see this. You know, it's a good thing that there wasn't more loss of life. But all of those rivers in North and South Carolina are still flooding. Even days and days after the storm has passed and gone and the sun is shining, those rivers are still overflowing at a historical rate. Highways that look like freaking rivers. You can take huge boats and just drive straight down it. Same thing with Hurricane Harvey last year. Ladies and gentlemen, we have not seen the last of this. Mark my words. You know, it's up to all of us that are following this information, that have ourselves knee deep in it. It's up to us to start waking people up. Get their heads out of the sand. We're all going to live through this. Meaning, we're going to experience it. There's no way to get around it. There's no way to stop it. Man cannot stop what is happening. It has been part of this planet's history for tens, hundreds of thousands of years, if not millions of years. Mainstream science doesn't know what they put out there. They make it sound really good, but there's no facts. Today, you're looking at facts. And the fact of the matter is, there are multiple objects invading our sun. Our sun is weakening. Dr. Albers has been talking about this for years now. We look up into the sky and we see a white ball. It looks like a fluorescent light bulb up there. Does it actually look like the sun? We've shown you all of the video footage that I've captured and other people have captured from the International Space Station. And what do? They cut the feed. Pretty soon, they're not going to show the sun rising or the sun simulator rising at all. Why do you think they censor my YouTube channel? We're nearing 75,000 subscribers. We should have millions. Look at the video counts. They're shadow banning my channel and Dr. Albers' channel. They've been doing it for almost 2 years now. They don't want this information spreading across the world. Why? Well, you know, it would probably cause a panic. Unless people fully understood what is happening. It's almost like understanding that alien life does exist. Do you have to hide the fact that there are alien beings? No! We know that there is life outside of our planet. This just makes me sick. I'm sorry for ranting, folks, but it is what it is. I took on this project a long time ago, and I made a promise to myself, man, that I would see it through to the day I die, no matter what happens to me. Somebody is going to have to pick up where I leave off. That's just a fact. And there are others out there that are doing decent research. But folks, I don't know. You know, I don't think that we're going to see these objects from Earth through the chemtrailing and our thick atmosphere. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, the thing is, Scott, there are some objects that are reaching Earth, probably the smaller ones that are ejected by the sun or coming past Earth and maybe even being captured by Earth. That would be the moon cores. And they will behave the same way as they do in the sun, except because there's not much difference between a star and a planet. The main difference is size.
Yeah, I mean that may be one of the main reasons why so many people are asking so many questions about the moon, saying that the moon looks fake and it's this and it's that. And I mean, folks, there is so much that we don't know. And why should someone criticize me or Dr. Albers or any other hardcore truther out there that wants answers? What gives you the right to criticize us for going out there, putting ourselves out there, and trying to find the truth? $10,000 for a Planet X model. Give me a break. Folks, I hope nobody donated money for that stupid ass cause, because that's a pure scam. And there's a lot of other people out there that are really jumping on board on this research just to scam you. That makes me sick, but hey, you know what? Everybody has a right to do whatever they want to do. For now, because your rights are slowly being taken away from you, little by little. Look at some of the other countries in Europe. They're being invaded. If you live here in the United States, hey, listen, you better keep your eyes and your ears open. You better fight for everything you have now. Protect yourself, protect your family, and be prepared for any type of emergency, whether it be something political or a natural disaster. That's all that I have to say. Be prepared. Whatever you feel that preparation should be, do it. Do it. I'm not saying the world's coming to an end, because I don't believe in that. I'm not saying some rogue planet's going to hit the Earth. I don't believe in that. But folks, just over the last 2 weeks, we've had quite a few near-Earth objects blaze right between the Earth and the moon. We've been seeing this for many years now. Okay, they're just picking the objects up hours before they pass by. Yeah. Just imagine one of those house-size objects, or like they said, the one object was the size of a school bus. Okay, what happens if that bus-size object lands in the center of New York City, or LA, or Hong Kong, or Tokyo, or Moscow, where there are tens of millions of people? Does anybody actually care about human life? So what? We want to go out there and we want to investigate that. I truly believe that this new world order crap, these globalists, these elitists, they're looking forward to catastrophes like that because there's too many of us and not enough of them. Dr. Albers, any last words?
Well, I would like to say that this is a good time to get to know our Creator. I believe that the Creator is responsible for placing our solar system where it is. There is a lot of evil on our planet, and the evil is contained inside the solar system because of the Planet X system. But we can go to Him because He loves us, and we can get to know Him, and He will help us and show us the plan.
And what's the big plan?
The big plan is to separate the good from the bad and decide, you choose whether you want to be part of the good or part of the bad. You choose the Creator, you choose to be part of the good.
Very good, very good. Sound words from a sound woman.
Thank you.
Well, listen, folks, that was the bombshell evidence that I had for all of you. I'm going to put all of these photographs up on the Planet X News Facebook page. And, feel free to analyze them. You can download them. You can use them in some of your videos. But just do me a favor, okay? Don't misconstrue the information. Don't lie about it and things of that nature. I mean, it is what it is. Okay, we have enough deception out there as it is. Okay, we know what is happening, and we're going to continue the search day after day. But share this information, share these videos, share our articles. Hey, listen, we've written 7 books over the course of the last year. Those books have all of Dr. Albers' reports. We're going to be working on an 8th book, and that's going to be coming out, maybe within the next 10 days, maybe 2 weeks. It all depends. We both have very, very busy schedules. So the more you learn, the better off you're going to be. Remember what I've always said, and I will say it again. Knowledge is power. Power is having that knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being with me and Dr. Albers. Be safe out there and make sure you stay tuned. Take care, folks.